Hi guys, I'm Shmee, and today I would like to talk to you about the spec of my future car, my future Ford GT. So the car behind me is the one that I have just been driving, and if you haven't already seen my full in-depth video with the car and my first ever drive in it, I'd recommend checking out that video. It was an awful lot of fun. It's been an amazing day because I'm up in Scotland in the Cairngorms, surrounded by amazing roads, and basically it's been a pretty awesome time. But for today, I want to run a little bit over some of the options that you can have on the Ford GT and get some input from you guys. So there's a QT down below as well. You can head over and let me know what you think. But I want to talk a bit about it, and kind of unsurprisingly, Ford sent this car up for me to drive today in blue, in performance blue. The launch colour, I think they knew I probably liked blue, but I don't necessarily think blue is the right colour for me. But let's have a little look around it. Let's have a look at some of the options on this car itself and talk basically a bit about it. Now, all Ford GTs are left-hand drive. It's left-hand drive. It's set up that way with the carbon tub, so mine will be left-hand drive. But from a basic point of view, you've got colours, you've got carbon, you've got wheels, and you've got the interior as well that we can have a look at. So like I said, this colour is performance blue. There are other options. You can have liquid red, which is a really nice deep sort of triple layer red. You can have a nice bright yellow. You could have black, grey, silver, white. And then you can add stripes to it as well. So this car is obviously stripe free, but you can have sort of thin stripes or thick stripes running the full length of the car from the wing up through the back, over the roof, and down through the bonnet, either the thin stripes on the central section or the thicker stripes sort of overlapping into the vents. So then that sort of opens up a whole world of opportunity, like a yellow car with black stripes, or a red car with silver stripes, or a black car with orange stripes, as Jay Leno's done, or I don't know, colours, colours, colours. So that's basically the place to start. I mean, what do you think? What should it be? I'm leaning towards either red or yellow, I think. I'm not so much a grayscale fan, so I'm not going to go black, silver or white. That's not really me. Is blue kind of overdone? Is it too cliched for my cars? I'm not entirely sure. And then when we've chosen the colour, we've got to pick the stripes on it. So this is really hard. You can actually have paint to sample as well. You can paint the car in your own colour with literally any options available, but then you can't have stripes. You can only have stripes in the sort of set configurations, because when companies do this kind of paint over paint, you have to make sure it sort of works and you don't get chemical problems. It's actually quite complicated, as I've been learning. Then when you've chosen the colour, you can come around to the wheels. Now, there is actually a different system if you have these wheels, the kind of regular 5 twin spokes, or if you have the full carbon wheels. Now, the full carbon wheels are really expensive, but they have a different hub mounting system. So basically, they're not interchangeable. If you have carbon wheels, you reduce the unsprung mass, obviously, which gives you a slightly better driving experience at great expense, but also with the risk that if you ever curbed it, the wheel is defunct. You can sort of repair them, but there's a big risk. You can't repair them in the same way you can a normal wheel. So if you're using a car on a road trip, you basically need a new wheel, which might be impossible to find literally in the middle of nowhere. So that's something to think about. And I quite like this design. Honestly, I really like it, but then carbon is cool. We'll see. Then the carbon fibre around the car. So you've got on this car the satin carbon, which is obviously the splitter around the front, these sort of scoops, I guess you could call them, around to the sides, the whole lower side skirt option or area that has this sort of intake through here from the front where you can see through, which I pointed out in my main video, which is really cool, all the way back, and then the diffuser section as well, so around the apron and then the diffuser down at the bottom. So you can have that either painted black as standard, or with the satin carbon, or with the gloss carbon. Now, my view on this is if you have a bright coloured car, the satin carbon is really cool. I'm a big fan of the satin carbon finish on the exterior as well, because I mean, it doesn't get as dirty as well, because dirt is kind of satin grey in effect, so you don't see it as much on those lower sections of the car, which I think is cool. So satin carbon is probably the choice for me on the exterior. Now, there's not really that much else outside that you can actually spec, so let's open up the doors and jump in here, which you do by pressing in there, and have a little look at the interior. So in here, you've got lots of satin carbon. Again, more reason for the satin carbon on the outside to match up with what's in here. You have things like your movable pedal box, the fixed seat, so the seat base is completely solidly fixed in here. I didn't actually mention in my full video, by the way, there's a little storage bucket here, which you press to open. Not the biggest space in the world, but there we go. That was one cool little thing I didn't mention before. But this car has the blue Alcantara, so you have a couple of different trims that you can have with mixtures of leather and Alcantara, and you should really head over to the configurator to have a look at all of these. But I'm a big fan of Alcantara. The thing is, the colour you go for in here depends a lot on the exterior colour. So this dark blue works really nicely against the blue outside. You also get that upper piece there and all the way around the dash as well, around the top of the dash in the Alcantara. I think that works really well, but then, you know, depends, what do you want here, what do you want there, how do you want it? We've got gloss carbon up here. These seats are made by Sparco as well, by the way. I saw the manufacturing process when I was down at Sparco for that, which is pretty cool. So, seat colour choices that's going to go with what's on the outside. The safest is always to go black leather, black Alcantara, a nice sort of mix of the two, because that will go with any exterior colour, and it works with wrapping in the future or any sort of things one wants to do that are crazy beyond that. Now coming around to the back, one other thing, titanium exhaust. So I think this car has the standard exhaust system, which doesn't sound bad by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. 3.5 litre twin turbocharged EcoBoost V6, straight out the back there, out the exhaust system, but you do have the option of a titanium exhaust if one can afford it. It's quite an expensive option on the car. In fact, it's actually quite an expensive car to spec up, to be completely honest, but that's half the fun. So you can also change your brake calipers. You can paint the brake calipers in a series of different options, depending how you want that to be done as well. So there are lots of choices, and well, like I said, I kind of want to do this cutie to get you guys some input. You know, how should we spec this Ford GT? I'm lucky enough that Ford have secured me the allocation. I applied for the car, and obviously part of that was that I promised I would share the story, adventure and journey of my car with you guys, as I have been doing with these videos. So having a good look at it at Geneva, going up the hill with Harry Tinknell at Goodwood, then today having my first drive in it. So there's a lot more to come obviously in this process, and I'm looking forward to getting the spec box. So when your order window opens, which is about 9 months before your car arrives, they send you this box. You might have seen it with a number of the different samples, the different carbons, the different leathers, the different options, the different colours, the paint sort of samples. So you can basically decide from that how you want your car to look. And then when you get your car, you get a serial plaque with it that you can also stick back on your box and keep sort of in connection with the car with your choices up at the very top, which is kind of neat as well. But let's just jump in here quickly, because there are also other things you can customize. Like you can have custom harnesses, you can have a nice bright color harness or harnesses that match with the choice one goes for the seats or the exterior or the stripes. I like how when you press the brake it wakes it up. It brings up the GT logo on the screen. But let's just start this for a moment. Into life. One thing I was going to show there that I didn't was the shift lights on the steering wheel. So if I just turn this off again for a second and then immediately turn it back on, look at the shift lights as you start it. They give you that little light sequence, so they sort of flash across and back, which is quite neat. Letting me know that the door is open. That is not a problem right now. And yeah, it all works pretty neatly. It's a lot more comfortable than you might think in this car, by the way. It's awesome actually, and I would thoroughly recommend checking out my full video, because I talked a lot more basically about everything, showing you through the inside, all around the outside. But I'm very keen to get your thoughts as to how I should spec it, how my car should be, whether it should be, I guess, something that sort of sits in. Should I look at it more like kind of investment, do it in launch spec, use it. I'm obviously going to use my car, don't get me wrong on that, but long-term history, or should I try and make up something completely unique? Should I go paint to sample and create my own colour? Should I do it in colour that I've done before, like the purple of my McLaren or the light blue of my old 675 LT Coupe? I don't know. There's so many options. I have had literally the most amazing day today, by the way, driving this car, like you would not believe, and I'm still a little bit lost for words about it all. It's just been truly epic, truly epic. But I've got to start thinking, and there's no better time to think about what spec you'd like than when you're actually sat in the car itself and taking a look at it. So I've set my mind during the time I've been filming this video that satin carbon fibre is the way to go. So it's definitely going to have satin carbon fibre exterior parts. I would like it to have stripes. I think the Ford GT distinctly had stripes, so I need to come up with two colours that go nicely with stripes. And then probably these wheels, but in a colour that depends on the body. So you can have them black, silver, grey, I guess, or you can change them afterwards to anything you'd like. So the colour of the wheels is going to be dictated by the body colour of the car itself. But I think there's just so many ridiculously cool details about this car. Look at those headlights. Just look at those headlights. It's just crazy, and this is sitting in sport mode, so it goes 5 centimeters lower. You can obviously have the wing up or down depending how you want it, but it's like, it's just, I don't know, a spaceship kind of thing. You look through here and it's just bizarre. It's just like straight through, straight out. Anyway, I am rambling on plenty much, but do go and click over to Qt. Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'd love some feedback and some input from you guys about how I should spec the Ford GT. And yeah, that will kind of be the start, I guess, of my order process, although I'm not going to receive the car, to be completely honest with you, until late half of 2019. So I've got about 2 and a bit years to wait. Frustratingly long wait, but I'm sure the car is going to be worth it. Now that I've driven it, actually, I know it's going to be worth it, so I'm definitely getting it. Let's not have the discussion about whether I'll buy the car or not for now. So yes, amazing. What a day, what a drive, what an awesome car, what a brilliant experience. But I will wrap this one up for there. Thank you ever so much as always for watching, guys. Do let me know your thoughts, and I'll catch up with you again very soon. Cheers.